Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing? I'm hanging in there. I don't know if anybody else is having a rough day, but today my Wi-Fi has been rough. I don't appreciate that. You can try that for a warm-up while we're waiting for everybody to get here. Can you see my screen? Yes.
I'm going to go grab a whiteboard real quick.
Perfect.
Be right back.
Jessica, yes, but save it just because that's what we're going to talk about today. So save it for a few minutes, but don't lose it. Don't lose the question. And you can type it to me privately if you want. I just don't want to give it away yet. I think this is the size our class should be right here. I can see you all perfectly on one screen. It stresses me out. There's so many of you. I feel so bad. I feel like some of you, I'm neglecting you. Please do not let me neglect you. Please just ask if you have any questions or concerns. I love having all of you. I just wish I could give you each more attention. You're like, nope, I'm good. Leave me alone. You're like, I don't need any more attention. I feel like you're giving me plenty. Okay, welcome, welcome. I put a warm up. This was kind of practice for your midterm, making sure everybody knows what's happening and those kind of things. And waiting for everybody to get here, get settled. My Wi-Fi has been a pain in the patootie. Oh, I don't know what it is. My son just texted me that last Wednesday we had a terrible day too. So I was like, maybe it's Wednesday. And maybe I cursed it because remember how I was like, Wednesday's a hard day. Yeah, maybe I did it. So sorry about that. I'm going to say Wednesday's an easy day and maybe that will fix my internet. I don't think so, but I can hope. Okay, who's nervous about the midterm? Raise your hand if you're nervous about the midterm. Okay, nice. Notice Hannah's hand didn't go up because Hannah already did hers. Hannah Miles. Yeah, not her Canvas portion, but her oral one. And you didn't die, Hannah. You're here. Yeah?
I'm very much here, very much alive.
Yeah,
And
it wasn't terrible, right? Do you have any helpful hints for everybody else? Don't tell them any answers, but any helpful hints?
Just make sure you do thoroughly understand the problems. There's only 8 of them, so it's definitely doable. And sure said this, but just make sure that you think about questions that she might ask you. And don't just do like what's on the paper, but go the next step and maybe apply the concepts to other areas.
Helpful hints from Hannah. Oh my gosh, that was the HHH. Helpful hints from Hannah. Nice. Loved it. Any questions for me? Or, I mean, you could ask Hannah. I don't think she's going to tell you anything, but it's not a big secret. I gave you all the questions, right? I told you what was going to happen. So you should be okay. I'm only, yeah, I'm ready, Evelyn. Go for it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So for not the oral part, but the one online. So is it a certain day that we have to do it? Or is it like throughout like a certain period, like you have like Monday through Friday, we could do it? Or is it at it? No, what is it?
You have it from Friday to Monday.
So this Friday to Monday. Okay.
Yep, this Friday
Okay.
to Monday, but you have 1 2-hour session.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like you can log in for 5 minutes on Friday,
Yeah.
then log in again on Saturday, and then log in again on Sunday. That's not how it works. So yeah. Yep,
Cool,
but
thank
1
you.
2-hour session, and then your written work is due as soon as you finish the online portion. And
Yeah. Okay.
if anyone is curious, I do have accommodations for several of you from Disability Resources. So, and I've taken care of that on your electronic end. So if anyone has concerns about that, no worries. I take care of that. But if anyone does have any DRS questions, disability resource questions, just privately message me or email me, before or after class, just so we make sure we get everything in place for you. So the nice part about the oral one is it's much easier for that's another reason that accommodations are really nice for that doing oral exams, right? So, and I'm trying to assess you in multiple ways. I don't know if you realize that throughout this class, but that's the idea. That's why you do some discussion boards. That's why you do some group projects. That's why you do individual things. And then that's why you do an oral exam and an online exam, as well as online homework. I know some of you are like, you're insane. Why do we have so much homework? Like my head is going to explode. I love how Sydney laughs because that's exactly what she was thinking. She was thinking I was insane. And by the way, I am insane. I do have trouble balancing. I've been trying to pare down my work, but what I also notice is the less I assign, the less you do. Does that make any sense? What I mean is, let's say I only had 3 assignments. You still wouldn't do all of them. I still have people who'd be like, maybe I'll do 2 of them or maybe 1 of them. So, and what I wish I could do is some of them, I know that you're going to do it and you're going to put your best effort forth. And I'd love to just give you full credit. I would love for Canvas to just say, perfect, she turned it in 100%. It won't do that. I've tried. So, like when you watch the videos and then you do things, but if you do notice, I still look at those assignments and give you feedback on them, right? So I do not like a class where I turn in things and I never hear anything back from the teacher. Like I just see, oh, I got an A, 100%. I mean, I'm excited. I got an A, but I'm like, dude, did you even read it? Not even sure that happened. I wrote a high school English paper because I was positive my teacher was not reading my papers. I was in AP English and she just kept giving me A's on everything. And I was like, I feel like she's not reading it. So I wrote the first page of the paper and the last page of the paper. And in the middle, I wrote a whole essay on how I didn't think she was reading my papers. Yeah, like 8 pages worth. Yeah, which why would I waste my time doing that? I could have just written the essay at that point, right? Yeah, I was kind of a snarky student. And guess what I got on that paper? 100%. You're welcome. She didn't even look at it. I was really not a nice student in that essay to her. I wasn't disrespectful, but I said, I'm not sure I appreciate writing 10-page papers when you do not read them. Blah, 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 blah. And I went on and on. And yeah, so tell me. So I know it's a lot of work to do, but I'm hoping that you're getting in the groove of it and you're kind of going, oh, I see how it might be worthwhile. And just so you know, I'm grading as fast as I possibly can, but still giving you good feedback. I did the addition and subtraction story problems homework and I did the subtraction strategies homework. Did you see that feedback on there? And then the one that I'm really trying to get to today is, and I've graded some of yours, so some of you are like, you already graded mine, is the multiplication strategies homework that you did where you wrote those 10 problems, right? And then you had some pictures. If you have your midterm today, I already graded it, right? So like McKenna, I already graded yours. And Hannah, I graded yours so you could see that feedback because I'm trying to get that before you make those same mistakes on the oral midterm, right? I don't want you to do that. So I'm giving you feedback on that. So if you don't have your notifications on Canvas, make sure you turn them on so you know when I grade things. How many of you have them on already? So you know when I grade stuff. All right. Are they getting annoying? Because it's like, ding, she made a comment. Ding, she made a comment. I know. Sorry about that. I did make a comment. It's okay. Here's the best part. I get copied on all of those as well. So I get a notification when I do it all too. So yeah, I could turn them off, but I'm obsessed with them. Okay. How'd you do on this warm up? Okay. Naming things. No worries. Okay. Oh, did you see how it says be sure to spell correctly? That's annoying, right? I know, but you are going to be the teacher. So you should probably know how to spell at least some of the words. Okay. I put answers too. Nice. Add in sum, minuend, subtrahend, difference, factor, product, dividend, divisor, quotient. Did you do okay? Did you get them all? Did you spell them all right? Quotient's a getcha, right? A lot of people spell quotient wrong. And some people spell dividend wrong. They put dividend like it's D-E-N-T. Don't do that. It's dividend. Any questions on those? Now, be careful. I could write this last one. Whoops, sorry. I could write this last one differently too. I could write my division problem like this. Yeah. And you would still need to know which one's the dividend and the divisor and the quotient. Everybody okay with that? Could I write it like this with long division? Yeah. Where does anything go in my long division problem? What goes under this? What goes right here?
The dividend will go inside.
The dividend. What number's the dividend?
48.
Very nice.
And
What do
then
I
the
put out?
divisor will go outside in the left, which would be 6.
Nice.
And the quotient would go on top, which is 8.
Yeah. So sometimes people get confused when I move these around, right? They're like, wait a minute, I thought I knew them, but now I don't. So make sure you know all of those.
I
Just
have a
like-
question when it comes to division.
Yeah.
I can't really tell the difference, or I don't know, maybe I just didn't look at it correctly between the partial division and the measurement division.
Oh, good question. That's a great question. And I was going to make a video and I just couldn't stay up late enough to make my video on that, but I should have. Maybe I'll get motivated today and make it. It shouldn't take me as long as it does. So, partitive division is when the divisor is the number of groups. So, whereas measurement division is when the divisor is the size of the group. So usually when we do measurement division, we're thinking repeated subtraction. Whereas when we're doing partitive division, we're doing more like equal groups. So, for example, partitive division, it's on that day when we described multiplication and division situations, and we thought of scenarios where the divisor was the number of groups compared to the divisor being the size of the group. And we looked at some kids' work. Do you remember where we drew, where they had like some pictures drawn, and we were like, oh, he really showed something different than what he was supposed to, because multiplication and division are connected. So for example, if partitive division would be in a word problem where it says something like, I have 35 pieces of candy and I have 5 kids in my class. How many pieces of candy can each kid get? So I'm splitting it into 5 groups, right? Instead of the same numbers, I have 35 pieces of candy. I want to give each kid 5 pieces of candy. Do you see how that's different? So that's the difference between measurement division and partitive division. Does that help, Betty?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions on this warm-up thing, or we can go back up here to We Share Wednesday. Did anyone have anything to share? Hannah already shared the good news, and Karen's here too, and Karen had her oral midterm this morning too. And Karen, it wasn't too terrible, right?
Yeah, I was fine.
Yeah. See, Karen and I both had Wi-Fi issues this morning, so we were like bonding over our terrible Wi-Fi today. So yeah, it was
I have
annoying.
a quick question. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
Evelyn.
Monday's President's Day, so I know at my job I get a paid day off, but we still have class, right?
No,
no?
we do not have class.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure.
No class. Yep, good.
Okay.
And is anyone reading my announcements that I wrote? Yeah, they're helpful. Does anyone think they're helpful? You should read them. I talked about Ed Rising. I talked about President's Day, all kinds of stuff. So read my announcements. All right. Anybody else have anything to share? Anyone want to shout out to each other? You can do it in the chat. You can do it whatever you want, like good luck on the midterm to each other. Like your little group that you're like, oh, I hope group 8 does amazing. I mean, I hope everybody does amazing, but group 8
I
should
guess
do
I can
especially.
share.
I'm ready, Vanessa.
I was looking at, I don't know why, on Monday I was like, I'm gonna look at my portal because I do payment plans for my tuition. So and I have a class that starts really late in March. Other than the 257, but I have another class that starts later. And I looked at my tuition balance, and I realized that a scholarship came through, so that's really good. Yeah, so I was like, yay. It's
Yay,
something
go
good.
you. That is really good. So check your portals, right? Sometimes it's a scholarship that you were supposed to get last semester that you never got, and so they reimbursed you. So check that
Yeah,
out.
it's actually 2. So the one that I didn't get last semester, I got it this semester as well. So it was 2 of them. So I was like, yay. That's always
Yeah,
good.
that is awesome. Check those out. All right. And then I was going to share something else. Oh gosh, now I lost it. Oh, I sent you an email and I didn't mean to confuse anyone with the email that I sent out. I should have waited till after class to send the email. I have office hours normal tonight, 7:30 to 8:30. Didn't change. Normal, come visit me, hang out, whatever you need to do. My office hours that are canceled are tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I have an appointment tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So I can't do my office hours at 8. Now, if you're desperate to talk to me, because I know sometimes that math is just a burning question, right? Actually, it's probably because you're midterm. I can be online between 7 and 7:30 a.m. So if anybody needs me from 7 to 7:30 a.m., just let me know. I'm not going to log on unless you want to be, I'm not just going to hang out there for 30 minutes unless you want to see me. So just send me a message if you need to see me then. Okay? Or if you need to see me another time. So sorry about that. Unexpected appointment. Have to go. Okay. Anything else? McKenna, can you confirm, are we at 2 or 2:30? I feel like we're at 2.
At 2:00.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just making sure. It's on my calendar for 2, and then I somehow had a dream that you were actually at 2:30. And I was like, did I put it on my calendar wrong? Is this possible? So I'm all good. Okay. Today, this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about order of operations and properties, which we've talked about the properties already. Take a look at this. Cassidy offers the following explanation for 427 divided by 11. She says 10 11s is 110. After another 10 11s and another 10 11s, I'm up to 330. After another 5 11s, I'm up to 385. One more 11 makes 396. Then one more 11 makes 407. One more 11 makes 418. Then there are 9 left. So the answer is 38 remainder 9. Think to yourself, what strategy is she using? And then after you think of that, what mathematical concepts does Cassidy need to understand to complete this strategy, right? What does she need to know in order to complete this strategy? Get your answer ready in the chat. I know it might be a little lengthy for some of you. Some of you are like, no, it's going to be very short. It's okay. Put whatever you think in the chat. Read through it again. I know it's hard because there's lots of words. You can always pull up the slides, right, on your own and have them as well. So you could look at them and get it ready in the chat, but don't hit enter. I'm going to give you like a whole minute to write and think. Are you ready? 3, 2. Oh, Bree said no. I'll slow down. 1, go. Now read through everybody's. It'll take a minute for everybody to hit enter and finish. I mean, I hope I get more than just that, right? Everybody should answer. Don't read everybody else's and then write yours.
That was super weird. I kept trying to send it and it wouldn't like send through.
It's okay. I think weirdness is happening today. It's Weird Wednesday. Yeah, I agree with all of you guys. I think she was decomposing, right? Into things that she knew. Now, how would you record it? How would you record her method? You know what I'm going to do? This is going to be real annoying and really messy, and you're going to hate it, but it's got to be done. I'm going to share a whiteboard on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing over here. You're going to have to think about this, right? Did everybody did anyone try to write it down already, what she did? Yeah, I can read it to you if you want when we're doing it, but I'm going to share my screen. I want you to write on the screen. I know some of you are like, oh, that's so hard with my mouse. I know. You can type on there too. You can click on the text box, but we should all be able to write on it. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with a whiteboard. Try to record her method. You can write all over this. Can you see it, first of all? Okay. Can you see it now? Somebody answer out loud because you guys just disappeared.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
that's
goodness,
good.
because you all just disappeared for me, which is a little stressful on my part, but it's okay. I will fix you. Okay, so go ahead and write on there. Let's see if we can record what on earth her thinking was. And I can read it to you if you want me to read it to you step by step. Everybody should be able to write on it. If you don't know how to write on it, you're going to choose. I'm just trying to find you guys. Sorry. You choose from the menu, you choose more, and then you choose annotate. Please tell me you can annotate. Yeah.
Where
and
does it say more?
It should be at the top of your screen, at the bottom of your screen, somewhere where it says I'm sharing my screen.
Oh, the view options.
Brianna figured it out. Good job. So, and you can use, Hannah figured it out. Nice. You can also use, you should have a toolbar. You can do text. So you can type. Yeah. You can erase. You can stamp. Everybody okay? All right. So you're like, ooh, how am I going to write this? It's okay. I'm going to read you the clues again. She's doing 427 divided by 11. That's what she's doing. 427 divided by 11. Okay. Nobody wants to write that down to start. Like you all have access to the same doc. There you go. You're like, I'm going to write on top of somebody else. That's okay. I love how big Madison's writing. I appreciate that. You're like, yikes, what just happened? Okay. Yeah, see, you're capable. You can write on this. So 10 11s is 110. She does that 3 times. 10 11s is 110. And some of you, this is giving you trauma, so you're writing on paper. That's fine. But just make sure you know how to write on the board. And if you choose the little arrow tool, you should be able to move your stuff around too once you write on it. Like, so like this whole thing is a text box. Alyssa is a text box down there. You could move it if you need more room. Bethel, did you figure it out? At the top of your screen, it should say, you know, I'm sharing my screen, you know, you're seeing Roxanne's screen, and then under more, you should see some options of like annotate. Is there anyone who's unable to write on the board? I know that it's bothering you, but I'm just saying, is there anybody who can't figure it out?
I can't figure it out either. I don't see any option that says more.
Okay,
Uh.
I figured it out. So you have to go like to the very top where it says view options is where the green is a green tab that says you are viewing Roxanne classing screen. And right next to it is there's a button where it says view options. If you click on it, then it gives you the option of zoom, ratio, request, remote control, or annotate. You have to click annotate and that allows you to draw.
Is that better, McKenna? Did you figure it out now?
I got it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I see. It takes all of us.
I don't think I can do it on my phone because I just tried to do it like step and there's not even like anything
There
close
might
to
be a
what
little
they said.
pencil icon. See if there's a little
Mm.
pencil icon somewhere on the screen when it says you're viewing the whiteboard. Are you on the whiteboard screen?
Yeah.
Okay, see if there's a little pencil icon in the bottom corner. You just muted too.
Oh, I think it's in the very, let me turn my camera because I turned it. Oh, I think I figured, wait, let me see. If I click, oh, okay, I got it.
Nice.
I didn't see it was, I had you flipped.
I know it's weird.
And so
I do
it was
the
like
same
hidden.
thing. Yeah, I do the same thing. So it is possible on your phones as well, just so you know. Okay, so now do you see how we can actually see everybody's work? And I know that some of you are like, no, I cannot see anything. This is chaos happening right now. It's okay. The chaos is fine for a couple minutes. So you feel a little more confident in, oh, I actually can write on the screen. I don't like it, but I can write on the screen. When you meet with me for your midterm, it's really important that you have a way to share your work with me. Even if you did it on paper, you need to scan it, make it a PDF, and be able to share your screen. And then sometimes in my follow-up questions, I ask you to do mathematics live. Well, if you're doing it on paper, do you know how hard it is for me to see this? And you're going like this, and I'm trying to see it. Get a whiteboard, right? To write on it, or use this whiteboard like this. So, because I just need to be able to see your mathematics. I know some of you, it's like, well, that was short notice. Pretty sure all this information is in my syllabus, just FYI. So it's really not short notice. But I will make the best of it. Like Hannah held up her paper to me and it was fine. Held up her paper to me, it was fine. It's not ideal, but it's fine. Okay. Everybody understand? Okay. So this is partial quotients. We didn't even do the whole thing, but you get the idea. Is there anyone who's still unable to write on the board? This is an important question. Kelsey.
Oh,
Kelsey, are you on a Chromebook? That's why you can't write on the board. Just so you know, if you're on a Chromebook, you can't write board. Here's the bad news, Kelsey. Did you do your lockdown browser activity for your Canvas test?
Yeah, like I have like a home computer. That's
Okay.
not like a laptop that I'm gonna use.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, because that's really important because you can't use a Chromebook with lockdown. So good job. That's all I wanted to check, Kelsey. If I'm ever asking you to write on and you're like, duh, I'm on a Chromebook, I can't. That's totally fine. Just let me know. Elena, how about you?
I just want to make sure, like, I can write on it. I'm just want to make sure everyone else is experiencing like a glitch I'm having. When I start to write, it's like doubled for me until I finish writing. Is that just a thing on my end?
No, that's me
Karina's
too.
saying, yeah, Karina, Madison, yeah, they're saying, yeah, it's the same.
Okay, long as like it's happening to other people, I don't feel embarrassed.
It's not an ideal situation, but I wouldn't normally have 25 of you writing on the same whiteboard at the same time anyway, right? But when you go into your breakout rooms, you're able to share a whiteboard on your screen, and then the 3 of you or 2 of you can write on it, and it's way less chaotic, and it might be less laggy for you, Elena, and you guys can save that doc. So just so you know, if you ever need to do that, okay? That's all. Okay, do I
Okay.
need to go over this, or are you feeling okay about this problem? I just got rid of it. Sorry. Okay, you all right? Nobody's crying? Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you write this like the big seven? Something she was adding up, whereas with the big seven, you're starting at the you're starting with the dividend and you're subtracting partial quotients, but with this one she started with the divisor and was adding up partial quotient.
Yeah,
quotient.
I agree. So depending on how she was doing it, she was adding up as she went.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So, and how she recorded it, we really don't know, because it's not clear. She could have been, remember yesterday when we had the one where she just listed them?
Mm-hmm.
It could have been that. But if we were doing the big 7 with this, 427 divided by 11. Oh, I'll put my 11 there so we can see it. She did. And sometimes kids do this, by the way, with the big 7. They just write 10 and they do. So she was really just adding, right?
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So she wasn't really doing this.
No.
Right? She wasn't doing this. She was doing kind of almost like a number line, huh? You could record it on a number line that way. You could say, okay, so she went 110, 110, 110. So now she's at 330. And then she did another 5 11s. So she did 55. And now she's at 385. Should be a little more consistent with where I'm writing things. And then she did one more 11 to get to 396. And then one more 11. Oh my gosh. Her system was a little annoying to get to 418. And then she said there are 9 left. So here was her. That was a group of 10. That was a group of 10, 10, 20, 30, 5, 36, 37, 38. So what she was really doing was 10, 10, 10, 1, 5, 1, 1, 1. That's what she added up. So she could have done scaffolding, right? The other way above the divisor. But either way, loved what I think it was Tyler in his thing. And then let's see what Tyler wrote. Tyler wrote, I thought it was Tyler. Counting up, she has to know multiplication and addition to be able to complete this strategy. Absolutely. And then someone else, she said she needs to, Hannah said she needs to understand the connection between multiplication and division. Karina said she could be using base 10 blocks, right? How to add up. So place value, she definitely need to understand place value, right? McKenna, she needs to understand what is the divisor and the dividend and to set it up correctly. Her multiplication facts with addition and subtraction. She's using measurement, see how many copies of 11 she needs. Very nice. Decomposing partial quotients. Very nice. So she's got to connect a lot of things here, right? We already did that. Good. Now, let's talk these properties because she probably needed to know some properties to be able to decompose things, right? She had to know she could break them down into different things. So we talked just a little bit about the commutative and associative properties, but we're going to discuss them a little more in detail, and we're going to look at more specifics. So here's some properties we need to know. Addition and multiplication the associative property, the commutative property, the identity property, and the distributive property. Those are really important for us to know. Some of them you might already know, like in your head, you know, and they might be part of your vocabulary. But literally, second graders start to know this vocabulary. If you haven't been in a second grade classroom recently, they will start saying words like, oh, that's the commutative property of addition. You're like, what? We didn't have to learn them like that. We probably memorized them once in 5th grade for a test, and then they just fell out of our heads, right? Because we didn't speak our mathematics the way we need to speak our mathematics now. So look at this problem. Sheldon had $5 and earned $7 more organizing a closet. How much does she have altogether? And then the other one is Leonard had $7 and earned $5 more solving math problems. How much does he have altogether? So when you write these problems, first of all, can anyone describe what type of story problem this is?
Join.
It's a join problem. How do you know?
There's an action verb, and
Very nice.
it's a positive one or a negative one.
So earned. So some of you struggle writing the math sentence, right? Like you leave off parts of the sentence or you don't directly translate. Can you practice writing the math sentence on these two and put a box around what would be the missing value but actually put the answer in as well? Okay. Try that for those two and then see if you can finish that last statement on this page. All right. So what math sentence did you write for the first one?
Is it part A? I mean, the first.
Yeah, part A.
I wrote 5 plus 7 equals $12.
And this was the part that was missing, right? We're just directly translating that. What's the difference between A and B?
Leonard, is that, yeah, Leonard already had $7 and then he's earning 5, so they're like flipped wages.
Very nice. So your new math sentence on here would just be reversed, right? So when you add two numbers and reverse the order of the add-ins, the sums are the same, right? Equal, whatever you want to put there. Yes, I think you're seeing the Big Bang Theory come out, just so you know. It's okay. Don't worry about it if you don't know the reference. You can pass the class without it. Okay, so the commutative property, changing the order does not change the result. Let's look at it with subtraction. This is a nice place for you to see how to spell minuend and subtrahend again and difference. And what was I grading? I was grading something of yours, and someone did an extraordinary job in their writing. I'm trying to think of who it was. I might have to look it up for you guys because I was going to ask them if I could share it. Who was it? I'm going to have to think about it. Okay, so the temperature in Minnesota was 8 degrees. It dropped 5 degrees after sunset. What was the temperature after sunset? First of all, what kind of problem is that?
Separate?
Yeah, it's a separate problem, right? It's not we're joining, now we're separating because there's an action verb, dropped, right? So some of you were having trouble identifying those. Look back at your addition and subtraction story problems because a lot of you categorized them incorrectly and I wrote in the correct answer. Okay, so make sure you look at those. And then the temperature in Alaska was 5 degrees. It dropped 8 degrees after sunset. What was the temperature after sunset? So write in those equations again and then answer that bottom part. All right. Now, do you notice I'm almost obsessive with my units? Yeah. Why do you think I do it like that? And you might say, because I'm the teacher, but you've had lots of teachers. Are other teachers as obsessive as I am? Some are. Nice. I appreciate that. Are some not as obsessive with it? Especially in young elementary school? Do they leave units off a lot? Yeah. So I mentored in a 6th grade classroom and we talked about what that does to students. It just creates that habit of leaving their units off and just saying, oh, I'll just remember to put them on at the end. Well, what happens? They forget to put them on at the end, right? And it also makes the problems not contextualized anymore. And contextualizing problems is one of the ways that students deepen their understanding. So I had a 6th grade teacher that I mentored in his room all the time, and he always called problems that looked like this. Or if he had a problem that was just like this, because he taught 6th grade, he had problems like that, he would call them naked problems. Oh, those are naked numbers. Oh my gosh, you say the word naked in a 6th grade room? All on you, baby. They're right there. That's an attention grabber. Now, and he said, and students would say, and he would explain that sometimes we do have problems with that are not contextualized. So they are naked numbers, but we don't like them. We would prefer a contextualized problem because then it helps us understand the meaning and what's happening. So in a problem like this, you notice that there is no commutative property for subtraction, right? That's the point. So when you subtract two numbers and reverse the order of the minuend and subtrahend, the differences are not the same. Right? This is important for kids to discover on their own instead of just giving an example and naming the property. Have them work through these problems. Let them use their number line strategies, right? I'm here at 8. I'm going to go to the left 5. I'm going to end up at 3. Or here I'm at 5 and I'm going to go to the left 8. I'm going to end up way down here at -3. Let them experience it. Let them see it. Because kids in Arizona don't really have a concept of 8 degrees or 5 degrees or 3 degrees or -3 degrees, right? So kids in another place in Minnesota would. Interesting question. I had a 2nd grader who did their math with negative numbers. negative numbers are not introduced until the upper elementary grades. You know, by 6th grade, they'll be introduced to negative numbers. Integers are introduced in 6th grade. But I had a 2nd grader who did his subtraction problem, or he did his math problem like this. Let's say he did 23 minus 17. He did this. 3 minus 7 is -4. 20 minus 10 is 10. 10 minus 4, my answer 6. That's how he did all of his math. Yeah, that's exactly what I did, Karina, when he showed me this. I went over to him and I was like, can you explain to me what you were doing? And he's like, well, 3 take away 7, you can't, you're going to end up owing him money. So it's going to be down there. And he didn't even really say negative. You know, he just said, this is what it was going to be like. And I thought, oh, he just was lucky. He didn't really understand what happened. So I gave him another one. He did it exactly the same way. I was like, so he could do any problem that way. So he knew negative numbers before they were ever introduced to him. So be careful. Now, a teacher who doesn't have a strong foundation might say, no, 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 you can't do that. Right? That's not how we do subtraction. But he's right. And he's mathematically, his reasoning is mathematically sound. Don't mess with the perfection, right? He knew what he was doing. Let it go. As long as he can show you why it's working, you're good. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, I hope I don't have that kid in my class. You do want that kid in your class, by the way. All right, good questions. So we do not have a commutative property for subtraction, and this is why, right? We will talk about integer subtraction next week. I thought Madison was frozen. Okay, this is just more of an example. Kids in young elementary school used to call them turnarounds all the time, but most teachers have stopped that and started using the correct vocabulary of the commutative property. Okay, let's look at this one. Read through these 2 questions, write your sentences, think about what category it's in. This is good practice review for all of these things. All right, did you write these? First of all, what kind of problem is the first one? Penny made 3 batches of cookies with 6 cookies per batch. How many cookies did she bake in total? What type
is
is
it
that?
equal groups,
Equal
right?
group? Yeah, it is equal groups. Very nice. So 3 batches times 6 cookies per batch. equals 18 cookies. And this is the part that was missing, the result. All right, or the product. And then 6 batches of cupcakes with 3 cupcakes per batch. She still made 18. This time they were cupcakes. So when you multiply and reverse the orders of the factors, the products are the same. So there is a commutative property for multiplication, right? You already knew that. How about division? Is there a commutative property for addition, for division? No, why not?
Because I'm trying to think how to explain this, because if the dividend and the divisor, depending on where they're placed, the number will be different. So if the dividend is smaller than the divisor, you're going to like either get a lot of remainders or a decimal or something to that extent. So they won't be the same, because if the dividend is bigger than the divisor, you're going to get a number instead of the other way around.
Nice.
So they can't be, yeah.
Yeah, good job. Good job using your vocab too, Elena. Yeah. When we reverse those, when we interchange the dividend and the divisor, we don't get the same answer. So there's no commutative property there. So think about this. 2 people are sharing 4 pizzas. How much pizza does each person get? So what would that number sentence be? What do you think? What do you put first, the pizza or the pizzas?
When you put the pizzas, yeah.
Okay, so 4 pizzas divided by 2 people is 2 pizzas per person. That's my kind of party, right? That's a lot of pizza, man. But if you do it the other way, if you have 2 pizzas divided by 4 people, I don't know why it keeps jumping around, stupid internet. What am I going to get then? How much does each person get then?
Half a box.
Yeah, half a pizza, right? That's not bad. Half a pizza per person. And that's what Elena was describing, when you'll get a fraction compared to a whole number, yep, depending on the dividend and the divisor. So, and we talked about, that's why we have different names for these pieces, right? Compared to in addition, we have addend to addend. Those are interchangeable. In multiplication, we have factor factor. Those are interchangeable. But in multiplication and division, I'm sorry, in subtraction and division, we have minuend subtrahend and we have dividend divisor. So those have different names for a reason. They're not interchangeable. All right, that's just more of the commutative property explaining, and more properties of 0. We talked about division with 0. There's also an addition property of 0. You can add 0 to any number and you haven't changed it. The multiplicative property of 0, when you multiply any number other than 0 or 0, right, by 0, you always get 0. So these two are 0 as a numerator and 0 as a denominator. Those two are question 1 on your oral exam, right? Yeah. So don't pick that one unless you love it.
Roxanne?
Yeah.
Could I tell something that I kind of discovered about the undefined number?
Yes.
So I did some more research, because like I always knew it was undefined, but I never knew like what undefined really meant. So I kind of did some background information, and I guess mathematicians, they said that they just never found an answer. There's no like answer that they could ever find to describe the answer. So it's undefined. I just never knew that. I mean, I just thought undefined meant like, oh, it could be any answer, but it just means that, you know, I know that was my thinking back then when I was taught it, but now I understand that it's so weird. Like you could do 5 divided by 0.0001 and then you get like a answer close to 0, but like it's never, I don't know. I just thought that was super interesting though.
That is super interesting. Did you guys watch that little TED Talk I posted on it? It was I think it was a TED Talk in our presentation this week. Madison, if you haven't watched it, that's fascinating. I'll make sure it's still there because it's really good and it's pretty short. All right. So we know that we have to be careful when we do some operations. So do you see where it says, complete the following table by performing the indicated operations by computing the result in parentheses first, as order of operations would necessitate. So if we look at this left side right here, this problem 1, this would say you have to add 5 plus 7 first and get 12. Then you add 3 to it and you get 15. Problem 2 says add the 7 plus 3 first and get 10, and then add 5 to it and you still get 15. So we're going to say, yes, the results are the same. Do it for the next 3. Compute, well, there's 6, right? Compute all of these following the parentheses first, and then answer if your results are the same. Go for it. I put the video in the chat. Don't watch it right now, but I thought I had it in our presentation this week and I don't see it. So don't watch it right now, but bookmark it for later. It's a great one.
You stopped sharing.
Well, that was rude. I didn't purposely stop sharing. My screen just had a freak out. Oh, I got kicked out of the meeting. So, but only my iPad did. So I'm good. One moment. Thanks, Bethel. We'll see if I can do it this way. All right, there you go. Better? No, now you can't see it, can you? Stupid screens.
We can see it now.
Oh, good. Thanks. So were you guys done with this one or almost? So what was this one showing you? First of all, were your answers the same? Were they different? What was happening here?
For subtraction, I got 2 different answers.
Yeah, so on the first one, you got like a 1 probably. And then over here, what'd you get? A 9?
9.
Yeah, so the results were not the same. For multiplication, were your results the same?
Yeah, I got the same.
Yeah, because here you did 6 times 4 and got 12. Here you did 12 or 2 times 12 and got, sorry, 24. I apparently decided to write 12. All right, how about the division problems? Were they the same? No.
I didn't get any.
So this would 20 divided by 5, which would be 4. This would be 600 divided by 6, which is 100. Those aren't even close. What is this showing you?
That order of operations are very important.
Yeah, and it's also showing you the associative property. What's the associative property? It's this grouping idea. So if anyone has seen in a TV show, hopefully you never heard this from your parent, you're associating with the wrong people, right? That means your group is bad, right? Associate means to group. So if it's the associative property, you're changing groupings, which we actually do a lot when we were doing our addition strategies, right? We were changing our groupings when we decompose by place value, right? We were changing our groupings. So there is an associative property for addition and multiplication, but there's not one for subtraction and division. Does that make sense? It should, because addition and multiplication are related, because multiplication is just repeated addition, and subtraction and division are related, because division is just repeated subtraction. So if that works for addition, it should work for multiplication, because those are related. If it does not work for subtraction, it should not work for division, because those are related. All right. This is just more explanation. Here's an example. Linda has a rectangular flower bed that's 10 feet long and 4 feet wide. She's going to plant morning glories and tulips. She wants more morning glories than tulips and decides to divide the garden as shown below. Determine the total area of the garden by multiplying its total length times its width. Then it says determine the total number of square feet that will be planted with tulips. Show which quantities will be multiplied, determine the total number of square feet that will be planted with morning glories, show which quantities would be multiplied, and then determine the total area of the garden by adding the area planted with tulips and the area planted with morning glories. So what do you think is going on here? Why would I have you do this? Think about that problem for about 2 minutes. Go ahead and start it, do whatever you think, and then see what I'm trying to show you with a problem like this.
What's D again? I can't really see it on my screen.
Oh, sorry. Maybe see if I can. Is that better?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
There we go. So what do you think I'm trying to show you with this?
I think one of the things you're trying to show us is how multiplication and addition are related to each other.
Absolutely. And Hannah Miles said the distributive property. Absolutely. Did you notice that it's the same as the distributive property that's going on here? I'm going to share my whiteboard. I don't know how well you can see it. You can see you could find the area of the whole shape, or you could decompose it just like we've been doing with multiplication and finding those smaller areas and then sum them, right? So this proves the distributive properties to kids through what they've been doing with multiplication already. So it's nice because you have multiplication over addition, right? The distributive property. You can also do the distributive property of multiplication over subtraction, right? If you think back to algebra, you're like, oh, don't get me there, right? All right. So we're going to skip this challenge. You could look through it if you want, but here's an explanation of it. I don't know if any of you are on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook because I don't like any of those people on Facebook. So Facebook's a little old for most of you. Okay. So, but people post those order of operations problems on Facebook, right? And then there's like a 20-minute argument about how math is stupid. I'm pretty sure it's not the math that's stupid, but I'm just saying that once again, this is why I'm not on Facebook. There you go. Lesson learned. Okay. So order of operations. I have a great video for you. I hope you've watched it or you're watching it and you're going to make your foldable. There's a reason that I don't use a particular acronym, and you all know the acronym that I'm talking about that I don't use. And the reason I don't use it is because students learned it incorrectly, whether it was the fault of the teacher or the fault of the student. I don't know. I'm not saying that teachers are purposely teaching math incorrectly. What I'm saying is that acronym leads a student to believe something that is not mathematically factual. Okay, so that's why. Here's a nice way for you to see some math in action and see what's going on. So you have $12 in your wallet. You spend $8 on lunch, and then your friend pays you back the $3 that they owed you later that day. It says, create a mathematical expression that models the situation, solve it, interpret the answer. So if we have $12, then we spend $8. Then your friend pays you back $3. They could solve that mathematical expression and you would discuss it, right? Like, how do you do it? You have to be real careful. And we haven't gotten into this much yet, but we really do need to go left to right, don't we? If we decide, oh, I'm going to add this 8 and this 3 first, $8 plus $3 is $11. I do $12 minus $11 and I get $1. Now, if any of you said this was a -8, I'm going to tell you it is absolutely not a -8. That is a subtraction sign. Yes? We'll get into that more later. But so what I'm saying is you really do need to move left to right. Do 12 minus 8 and get 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. Now, if you pretend that -8, I'm going to do it in whatever order I want. That's a different story because you actually changed your problem to an addition problem. And since we know that addition has the commutative property, yes, you could do it in any order. Right? So be careful. I just went over that already. Here's another one. Jim needs to bake a lot of cookies. He bakes a batch of 120 cookies and boxes the cookies. Each box will hold 10 cookies. How many boxes will he need for one batch? How many boxes will he need for 3 batches? Look at these 2 problems. Please do both of them. It says on this one, do this part first. On this one, do this part first. Do you get the same answer? Check those. Oh, for pickle's sake. It's okay. It's coming back. Coming back. I don't know why Technology Wednesday is killing me. Is it back? No. Yeah, I didn't think so. It thinks it's back, but it's not.
So I did the video that's due, I don't know if it's today or tomorrow. So is GEMS, because she mentioned in the video that PEMDAS, how it wasn't, how you were explaining it earlier, but so is GEMS okay to use then?
GEMS
you
is
prefer-
fine. GEMS
Okay.
is fine. And I do use a 4-step method. I don't necessarily have an acronym for it, but I like GEMS better because E stands for grouping symbols, right? Which there's more than just parentheses. We have brackets, we have we have absolute value symbols that are still part of grouping symbols. So you have to be careful. So G stands for grouping symbols. E is for exponents. Then the M, notice it's just an M, but it's multiplication or division, whichever comes first, left to right. And then the S, notice it's subtraction. Some say gemma, but it's purposeful that it's gems. So then you go O, subtraction or addition, left to right. So absolutely. So when you did this, by the way, can you see my screen again? Okay. So 120 divided by 10, that's going to be 12. 12 times 3 is going to give me 36. Over here, I'm going to get 120 divided by 30. So I'm going to get 40. So we had to make a decision, mathematicians, as a mathematical community, what is the rule? Because if we all follow different rules, we'll have a problem. So the rule we said was we have to go left to right. What's weird is a lot of times, coincidentally, you will get the same answer, even if you don't go left to right with multiplication and division, but it's because given a certain problem, right, where it coincidentally works out. So be very, very careful. Okay. All right. So we're coming to it. I did go over order of operations on the next one, and I explained to you that you have a little slide to do. This is on this idea when you're buying something or because late to it. So then went to the store and buys 2 cans of energy soda, packs of diet soda. How many soda cans did he buy in total? They'll write this and then they'll decide, okay, why is it that I have to do my multiplication first? So that's a good example for them. Exponent, I think you know enough about. So, if you have questions for me, especially about your midterm, feel free to contact me. I'm trying to stay on top of it, answering your emails. Okay. And I am really trying to get a bunch of that grading done. So let me know if you need anything. Tomorrow, we're going to start integers, which is not on your midterm, right? That won't be until your final. So no worries. That doesn't mean skip class tomorrow, just in case you thought that's what I said. What I said was just you don't have to stress about learning the content that's on the midterm, right? Because you've already learned it all. Okay, don't forget to do your exit ticket. I'll hang out here for a few minutes if you need anything. Good job today. I know it's kind of a boring day, but I wanted to make sure we got through it.
Can you move the QR code up just a little? Thank you.
Yep. It's so weird because it looks fine on my screen, but it comes through weird on your screen. Madison's so sweet.
I
We
didn't
should
realize
have
that was
him.
just I was still on private message. I was trying
I
to
know.
see
I
if
was
anybody
like,
was still
Madison's so
on.
sweet, wishing everybody good luck through me. That was just a
Yeah,
reminder.
good luck
Be a
to
good
you,
teacher
Roxanne.
and say, good luck on your exams.
I know. Whoops, the big fail. Oh well.
No, you're fine. They felt it. I feel like
I
they
know
felt
they
it.
felt it
Yeah.
spiritually, maybe not physically. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, Roxanne.
All right.
Have
All
a
right.
great day.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.